Be. That's a funny show. My name is Daryl Craig. I'm Bob Craig's grandson. So I thought I might go around and capture people on film and say hello or happy birthday or. And what are your names?
Evelyn and Jerome Hill.
Pardon?
Evelyn and Jerome Hill.
Yeah, where are you from?
Here.
Oh, you are. You're residents of John Knox. Yeah.
I did.
Did you meet Bob Craig here at the village? Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming.
It's all right.
Do you want to say hello to Bob Craig?
Hello, Bob. Where's Bob? Yeah, I've already signed up there. Yeah, I've known Bob a long time.
Really? What's your name?
Hollis Daler.
Right.
Hollis Daler.
Where did you meet him?
Here.
Here in the village. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is a fine guy.
Good sense of humor.
Fine guy. Know him a long time. He works in the sweet shop for us, an ice cream parlor.
Oh, really? Okay. Ever swim with him or play pool or?
Oh, I haven't done that.
No.
I don't swim. I don't do anything.
Okay.
And I used to play pool, but I don't do that anymore. I run an ice cream parlor, manage an ice cream parlor.
Oh, okay.
And that takes a lot of my time.
Right.
We have it open every afternoon from 12 to 4. Some boys
Okay. All right. Hi, who are you?
I'm Sylvia Craig, ex-daughter-in-law of Bob Craig.
Want to say happy birthday or something?
Happy birthday, Bob.
Okay, thanks.
Happy birthday, Bob.
And what's your name?
Jane.
Jane. Where did you meet?
Night.
Did you meet him here at the village?
Bobby.
Yeah. Did you meet Bob at the village?
I live here in the village.
Right. And you met Bob here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've known him and Lee for a little while.
Right. Yeah. So what do you think of Bob Craig?
I think he's a great man. I like him very much.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Hi, and your name?
Anna Freitas.
Uh-huh.
I met Bob when he moved in here
Right, at the village.
at the village.
Uh-huh.
Up on, what is it, Peach Cherry?
Yeah.
I met him up there.
Right. Yeah. So do you play pool with him or?
I just see him once in a while
Yeah.
in church.
Does he ever sit in for? Does he preach there? Does he ever run services?
Yeah, I used to go to Wednesday night and he often read his portrait.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
So at first there was another gal there, Jan Bayless, who gave him a bad time.
I wonder what he's doing to him.
Yeah, he's shooting me, isn't he?
And your name? Kramer. This is Kramer. Oh, okay. Yeah. And did you meet Bob here at the village also? Okay. Yeah. When did you meet him?
Maybe about 6 years ago.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So soon after he moved in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. And what's your name, sir?
Divert Yeagley.
Did you meet him here?
Well, I met him in Leavenworth.
Oh, really? When he was at Leavenworth? At the church? Oh, so quite some time
I don't know
ago.
whether you were born yet. I don't think you were.
No, that was before my time. Well, now my dad is Fred. Now he wasn't there at the time. Chris was living with him, right, in Leavenworth?
I don't remember.
Remember the kids? Yeah.
I've seen him, but I don't remember.
Right.
My
Okay.
wife worked at the church.
Yeah.
She was secretary.
Right.
So that's the way I know him.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. And your name?
Herbert Merrill.
Where did you meet him?
Well, I was the minister of the village church when he came to John Knox.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And I got acquainted with him because we we sort of intermingle.
The proceedings involved.
Very photogenic.
Oh, no, I don't agree. So do you want to say happy birthday to Bob Craig?
Happy birthday, Bob Craig.
And your name is?
Well, that doesn't tell a name, does it? I mean,
No.
record that thing. Does it?
Oh, to record your voice.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm just going around and trying to get people to say hello, happy birthday, maybe share where they met you and a few words. Okay, so happy birthday.
Daniel, you're looking right at me. Stop it.
I am. I'm zooming in on your face.
Like a Chinese.
What is your name?
Mary Poppins.
Serial number.
And Sylvia.
Yeah. You want to say happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Grandpa. We love you.
This guy. This is your grandson.
Happy birthday, Grandpa.
She's from Lansing.
I don't even know.
You're being recorded. Happy.
I play baseball.
Do this now.
Oh, yes, I do.
No, you don't.
And who are you?
If I told you, would you believe me? John Smith III. I'm Larry Sagles. It's good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, and
But why do you got to do this to me?
what do you want to say to Grandpa Craig?
Well, I love the guy. Love him. Glad to be part of it. Glad to be his daughter.
Good.
His daughter's a sweetheart.
Hey, happy birthday to.
Happy birthday, Bob. May you have many more.
And your name, sir?
George Powell,
Where did you meet him?
Shepherd Center.
Yeah.
Shepherd Center. We go to the Shepherd Center every Monday morning.
Okay, yeah. That's part of the village here. No, it's separate.
No, it's separate. We have that over at the Christian Church.
Right.
On Tudor Road and 291 every Monday morning.
It's
Would be known
perfect.
for other things.
I don't think there's anybody from Leavenworth. I thought there was going to be a couple here from Leavenworth. Is there some? Granite Chapel. Yeah, these folks from Granite Chapel over here. Yeah. Appreciate that very much. I don't know just exactly now what else I need to introduce or say, but I am very grateful for every one of you who've come today, really.
We'd only been married about a year, I think, when they came, and that family was a wonderful minister to a young couple like us. I remember one sermon in particular in which Bob talked about his early years with Bonnie, and he said that early in their marriage, they'd made a pact that whenever they got into a little tiff, a little argument, rather than saying hurtful things, Bob would retreat to the basement. And he went on to say he spent a lot of time in the basement. Well, I thought that was some pretty sage advice, and I think my husband must have too. We've been married 35 years, and when I think back about what Bob said, and I look back on our marriage, I realize that Jerry too has spent an awful lot of time in our basement. My other little story is Bob would come to our house. Bob used to collect coins. I don't know if he still does. I think mainly pennies. And Jerry saved coins. Jerry saves anything. I guess he had to do something while he was in the basement. Bob would come over to our house and go through Jerry's stash of coins looking for that rare gem or collector's, rare coin, old date, whatever. They never really found one. But the important thing was that the fact that Bob would come over was so important to us. It bridged that gap between pastor and friend. and he became our dear, dear friend. We loved him then, we love him now. And in honor of your 80th birthday, Jerry sent 80 pennies for you to go through in hopes that you'll find that rare gem, and if not, as a memento to the wonderful times we shared. Thank you. Happy birthday, Bob.
I have had the honor of having Bob as my pastor on 2 different occasions. Once in Ottawa. I grew up in Ottawa, and as Fred said, and it's been said, Bob married my husband and I June 19th, 1955, and 1 week later he married another couple that's here today, Peggy and Marion Cohen, and they're back in the back of the room. And then in 1960, well, Kenneth and I moved to Kansas City, and then in 1962 he became our pastor again at Winter United Methodist Church. And I had a little story that I wanted to relate to you that happened during the time that he was there. In probably about 66, I think he was still there then, we have 3 daughters, and at that time they were ages about 4, 6, and 8. And I had fixed supper one evening, and the food was on the table. We were just almost ready to sit down and eat, and Bob comes knocking at the door. And just a cordial visit because we were such good friends and all. And we were having hot dogs for dinner that night. And I think at that time there were 6 hot dogs that came in a package. And so we had other things to eat with the hot dogs. But we invited Bob to stay for dinner. I mean, the dinner's on the table, we're ready to sit down. And of course, you know, we loved him and wanted him to stay. And so he said, well, I believe I will. He said, Bonnie's going to be mad at me for not coming on home, but I'm going to go ahead and stay anyway. So I took the 3 daughters into the kitchen, and I told them, I said, now, Bob is staying for dinner. We only have 6 hot dogs. I'm going to cut them in half, and I want each of you girls just to take a half a hot dog and just leave the rest. And I said, if you're still hungry after dinner, I'll fix you something else to eat, but we're going to enjoy dinner with Bob. And of course we did. He stayed, and we did enjoy the dinner. And you know, we even had hot dogs left on the table after dinner was over. I don't know if Bob followed their lead in taking a half a hot dog or not, but it was one of several meals that Bob and Bonnie also ate at our house that we really enjoyed. And about my dulcimer. Kenneth bought this, my husband bought this for me about 3 years ago, and I learned to play it, and I love to play it. And my husband died February of this year, and I had played the dulcimer at the hospital while he was in the hospital to try to you know, kind of help him. And I have not been able to get this dulcimer out again since then. And when Fred called me a couple of weeks ago and said, maybe you'd want to play your dulcimer today, and I said, oh gosh, I don't know. And then I said, no, I'll do it for Bob. I'll get it out and I'll practice, and I'm a little rusty. You get rusty in about a year. And there is a medley of songs that I would like to play for Bob. There's nothing significant to the songs, it's just a medley of songs. Except the last one. Can't be too modest and play a dulcimer.
the 9th of 1944. His wife placed me in it.
Talk right into that mic, honey.
Oh, I can't talk of that.
Is this where I got my emotions from?
I still have him. And he planned a trip. I went on the Holy Land trip in 74, I guess. He took Chris over there for his graduation present. And he asked an aunt and me to go on that trip, and it was real great. He's a special brother.
This is Mary Linda's first daughter, and an older daughter. And how old are you today? 17.
Junior in high school.
They say 16 and never been kissed. How about 17 and never been kissed? Let's sing happy birthday to Anne. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anne. Happy birthday to you.
Lee, I think you ought to come up here,
Yeah, I
man.
do too. Yeah, Lee.
I'm very proud of this girl. She's a wonderful wife, I'll tell you sure. We have a wonderful relationship together. And I want you to introduce your brother and his wife that are here, honey. They're right back over here.
My son.
Your son, I mean.
Here's my granddaughter, Kim, too. This is my second son. The elder couldn't be here today. My young one lives in Hawaii. He had a good reason. But the others two are out of town. They are grandparents of a little baby girl. How old is Emily Kay now?
She'll be 6 months.
6 months
Talk into
old.
that mic, honey.
Yeah. My newest great-granddaughter is just 8 months old.
6 months.
6 months old, okay. I'm pretty proud of her.
I've introduced a lot of people here from other places. I would like to have all the people in the village to stand up. I'd like to know how many of the village that live in the village, Joe Knox Village. Will you stand, please? Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming here.
I actually have a poem that I've written for this occasion I'm going to read. It did occur to me that there were numerous cards and letters that were sent to me. Some of them I've opened because they were addressed to me. Some were to you, Dad. I suppose if we were all nosy, we might want to read from them, but I really don't think that would be necessary at this point in time. But again, it showed the gracious outpouring of interest on the part of many of your friends. And a lot of your friends, of course, couldn't be here today. I joked with Dad and said, you know, I work in hospice work, as a matter of fact, and I work with a lot of people very often in their 80s and 90s who have and of course I noticed this as a pastor. I was amazed at how many people, of course, outlive all their family members and all their friends. And I just said, you know, the main liability you've got about getting to be 80, Dad, is that you're going to have a lot of friends you want to come to your birthday party who aren't able to come, maybe. Many of them had, but many of you did. It's so gracious of you to be here. But we recognize that a lot of people were worried about inclement weather, and also some live a long ways from here, just simply couldn't make the trip. That's for Dad's 80th birthday occasion, celebrating Bob Craig's 80th birthday. 80 looks like 3 round zeros, and small in the overall scheme of God, who produces a ton of heroes, of whom I speak, one, bred and born in Oklahoma, Kansas sod. He was not so extraordinary, it seemed. Another Dust Bowl baby, raised on corn cobs and kerosene, still full of promise, more than a maybe. A motherless child, he and his sister became, tossed to and fro among the Browns. Loved and blessed just the same, learning and practicing smiles as well as frowns. Early on, he developed ability to preach, his only audience cows, dogs, and chickens. Yet a boy becoming a man destined to reach into the hearts and minds of higher beings by his daily livings. Bonnie, his partner, he took as his wife, accompanied and helped him through many a turn. Together faced strife, bringing Freddie, Mary Linda, and Chris to life. As Quakers or Methodists, worldliness did spurn. Meager the portions, but rich the proportions, as music and readings of books lifted our spirits beyond problems to joys and solutions. In parsonages and communities, through families and friends, we were gifted. Years have added kindnesses, toils in abundance. Another wife and mother, Bonnie, taken in death. Joining and splitting, going and coming, all in attendance. We, a family, remain, adding, subtracting, multiplying our wealth. Today in these changing times, Bob Craig we honor. Graced Bob is with Lee at his side. He remaining firm and gentle, we growing fonder of his virtues and spirit in whom God does reside. God makes something out of nothing, creatio ex nihilo, burning bushes, making holy ground, choosing people. Thus God did take 3 times a 0, and spicing, devising, providentially advising, we proclaim from the steeple that Bob Craig is 80, unfortuitously standing out in every crowd, gifted and graced by a God who is weighty, rightly of him, whatever his title, father, husband, brother, or friend, we are proud.
And Bob and Lee have been my friends for years and years, and we're very, very happy and lucky to have them here.
Well, we're all so fond of Dad, and we, in thinking about what we would like to give him for his birthday, we were thinking about one of his great loves, which has been to travel, and particularly to go to a place that we know that he's very fond of.
Talk right into that microphone.
Okay. Did you not hear me, Dad? Okay. I was telling them that we wanted to get you something special for your birthday, and what we thought of was that you love to travel and that you love, especially, you've mentioned it several times, that you love to go to Washington, D.C., partly because Chris is there, but he just has always loved to go and visit a lot of the famous places there. And so for his birthday, the family's gone together and we have a round trip ticket to Washington, D.C. for Dad and Lee.
She said one day she wanted to learn to drive. I said, I'll not stand in your way. And she doesn't like telephone poles, and she's always knocking them down every place she goes. She drives like lightning, and she said the next time I pass a car at 95 miles an hour, I'm going to open my eyes. And she always drives with emergency brake on. I said, why do you drive with emergency brake on? And she said, well, I might have emergency. I want to be prepared for it. It took her at least 3.5 cars to learn how to drive. She's learning to be a better driver. Last week she got 20 miles to a fender. She's been stopped so much that the cops have decided to give her a season ticket. She's really magnetic. Everything she wears is charged. One day she came into the room with her scalp bristling and pink curlers, and I said, what's happened to your head? She said, I said it. I said, when does it go off? After we got married, I didn't have bad breath anymore. You know why? Because I didn't have a chance to open my mouth. She does bird imitation. She watches me like a hawk. One morning she said to me, Bob, I had a dream last night. I dreamed I went to heaven. I died and went to heaven. I said, was I there? She said, yes, that's why I know it was a dream. She always calls me candy bar, and I said, why do you call me candy bar? I said, well, she said, well, because you're half nuts. I call her Angel because she's always up in the air, she's always harping about something, and she never has anything to wear. She can't cook, but boy, she can dish it out, I'll tell you the truth. She made me a birthday cake, but she left the candles on in the oven and they melted. We don't go out for junk food, she makes her own. Her idea of a hot meal was when her house burned down. She's a light eater, she always eats when it's light. And she has a rotation diet. Every time she turns around, she eats. Doctor put her on a diet of bananas and coconuts. She didn't lose any weight, but boy, she could sure climb trees. Doctor said if you ride a horse several miles a day, you lose weight. And she got back, she rode a horse for several weeks, and she went back to the doctor. She said, Doctor, I haven't lost any weight, but the horse has lost about 30 pounds. Well, I think that's about enough foolishness. Let me tell you just a little about my kids, though. I have a little bit of story here about them. One day, Chris, when he was 7 years old, came home from Sunday school, and I learned, he said, I learned a lot in Sunday school today. I said, what did you learn, Chris? He said, I learned that there were two parts to it, to the Bible. First, there's the Old Intestines and the New Intestines. We moved to another community in a different place, and our daughter came home from Sunday school one day, and I asked her who the Sunday school teacher was, and she said, I don't know, but I think she must have been the mother of Jesus, because all the teacher talked about was Jesus. The clergyman was visiting us one day, and the three kids were home, and he asked if the kids ever helped around the house, and Fred said, yes, I wash the dishes. Mary Linda said, I'd dry them. And Chris says, I pick up the pieces. Mary Linda was in the second grade at school. She was walking home from Sunday school with a neighbor boy, and they were talking about the Sunday school lesson, which was quite a bit about the devil. She asked her little friend, what do you think about the devil stuff? Her little friend said, do you know how Santa Claus is? How it turned out probably your dad. Well, I think that's enough foolishness.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Good party. Enjoyable.
I smile good.
Hello there. Happy birthday.